All right, this is our next episode of True Wrestling Fan Discussions, continuing our Monday Night Wars review series. This is going to be round 23, February 5th, 1996. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank. Let's get into it. This is going to be the last Nitro. This is the go home episode
hmm
before Super Brawl. So all the all the storylines, everything's getting hot. They got the full card out for this thing. I mean,
Well, most of it, because a match is added later on. We'll get into that.
yeah, they did.
Mhm.
They did add one later on. Bischoff did go through the card on this evening as far as what other matches would be on there. And as far as Monday Night Raw goes, this is going towards In Your House. As far as Bret and Diesel, Shawn
hmm
and Owen, Razor and a diaper.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and kick it off. Monday Nitro was in Lakeland, Florida. Monday Night Raw was still doing the pre-taping. They were in
Mhm.
Stockton, California again for this one. Nitro, you got the Three Stooges still running it. Eric, Mongo, and Bobby. Vince and Lawler on Raw. So let's kick it off. They started off hot, and even though these felt like the same matches, or not the same matches, but like the same storylines, they put a certain twist on it in this
hmm
evening to make it a little bit more interesting. Opening matchup was for the WCW Championship. It was the Macho Man Randy Savage defending the title against Chris Benoit. Now, I thought it was kind of weird that he would defend it against Benoit
Right.
6 days before he's going to defend it against Flair. I
And
mean, yeah,
Benoit's in the Horsemen, too.
exactly. So we know Savage is not losing the title tonight. There's no way that Benoit's going to face Flair at Super Bowl. So you kind of know where they're going to go with
Right.
that, but how they get there
Chris
is a
Benoit.
different story. Yeah. Savage was escorted once again by Woman and Elizabeth.
Mhm.
Man, is that going to change soon? During this match, I was really impressed on how Chris Benoit took it to the Macho Man in this match. Really aggressive. Um, he he looked like he belonged almost.
Yeah.
Like like the main event for the title, it he fit in it, and I really wish
Shows
Bischoff would have
good.
actually looked at this and been like, okay, I got something here. Let me not waste 4 years on him.
Yeah. The only thing about Benoit is just the mic. He wasn't really like
Yeah, his mic skills were
charismatic
very
and
very weak.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But his in ring work was tremendous.
Oh yeah. One interesting part during the match, Savage was up on the outside against the guardrail. Chris Benoit just put, all or nothing, just diving headbutt through the ropes, crashes into the concrete. My God, I'm surprised he got up. Savage kind of helped him into the ring. He goes for the elbow. He hits him in the back of the head, which I thought was a little weird because he doesn't normally do that. And you see Benoit's head kind of bounce off the mat. And of course, once he was going for the cover, Ric Flair came down. He was
Damn it.
holding on to Elizabeth. Um,
Damn Nature Boy.
by this point, and this happens on two different occasions this night. At that point, just him holding Elizabeth, the referee rings the bell. But Flair hasn't touched Savage, so the match should still be going on. The disqualification should have happened when Woman decided, I'm going to turn on you,
Mm-hmm.
go with Ric Flair, I'm going to choke you out with some nylon.
Yep.
There's where the disqualification should have went. And then, of course, so Randy Savage wins by DQ, but Woman has turned on him like we didn't
Woman,
see
yeah.
this
Woman
coming with
turned
her.
heel.
Oof,
Damn
no
it.
pun intended there. Now, of
Damn it.
course, Arn Anderson came down and him and Flair were attacking Savage. It took a good minute, but we finally get the Hulkster down there.
It was nice of him to
You
show up.
know, yeah, One Eyed Willie. And he comes down with a chair, hits
He
Anderson,
loves that
hits
steel chair,
Benoit.
man. Hogan
Oh,
loves
that's
this.
that's his tag team partner now. They should go for the gold. He cleared the ring
Mm-hmm.
with that steel chair. Now I want to leave it here for a minute because the next segment just pretty much continues this. I love when Mean Gene, just like a little vulture, just goes into the ring when somebody's down. Hey, what is he all right? What's his status, bro? They just like got here. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
what is it with you? You're like a little leech. Go away. So and Hogan was just telling him like, back off. We got to find out. Uh, now Hogan and Elizabeth eventually got interviewed by Mean Gene. Flair came from behind, no notice from Elizabeth whatsoever.
Well, and the thing is, Mean Gene was trying to warn him, and Hogan's just ignoring him. And
What
Elizabeth,
could you just say in the microphone? Flair's behind you.
right? Well, because it's part of the story. But yeah,
I know.
exactly. But
But he's
Elizabeth is looking dead in the direction that Flair is coming in, looking dead at him, and doesn't say anything.
She almost looks like she's like a deer in the headlights. Like she just got blinded and stopped in fright almost, not saying anything.
We know later on what was really going on.
Unfortunately, we'll get to that once we get to the Super Brawl review.
Here we were worried about Hogan having lust in his eyes.
Oh God! In a matter of 6 days, Flair's going to accommodate 2 women. Who's got the lust?
Unbelievable. Now? But yeah, Flair jumps him, and then
here comes the Giant, the Zodiac.
Then they're raking his eye because he had the eye that had that got injured the week before.
Yeah, Giant hits Hogan with the chair. Nice. And Savage comes back down, grabs the chair from the Giant.
But the damage is done. The damage is done already.
Now, what's weird is, and this is another week that nobody points this out. Finally, the announce table said something about it. Why is Zodiac holding Giant back? Like he's always doing this, and he doesn't get involved himself.
Eventually, it's revealed that he was like undercover, right? He was undercover.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It's like working for Hogan undercover.
Yeah, whatever.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, we got to do that dungeon episode. It's coming. It's coming, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
because you asked for it. It's coming.
They did?
We don't have a date yet. But it's coming. All right.
It's coming. Now, Savage asked Elizabeth, why didn't you warn Hogan about his blind side?
Right. And it's what I'm thinking too, but then they're trying. Mean Gene's like, no, she tried. I'm like, no, she didn't.
No, she didn't. She just stood there.
So then he kind of makes Macho Man look like the heel. Like, oh, here we go again. Macho Man is treating Elizabeth like garbage. He's going to turn heel.
Yeah.
But
little did we know.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's leave it there for Monday Nitro now because they've got 2 more matches on there plus another interview. Let's kick it over to Monday Night Raw. Opening matchup of the night is the Shawn Michaels and Big Daddy Cool Diesel versus the British Bulldog and Yokozuna. They are undefeated when they are a tag team together, Shawn and Diesel. Now
they just get stripped of the titles. They never actually.
I know.
They never actually lose them.
Now we get the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde of Diesel now.
Right. Babyface.
We got good guy Diesel here with the joking around and
It's like Luger. It's kind of like Luger, right? It's in a way. It's kind of like Luger and Sting. How Luger's a heel, but when he's with Sting, he's still
But with Diesel, it's kind of like all of a sudden he's joking around, and then later on he's just beating the crap out of everybody, and
he's like
all about me. I'm
like Harvey Dent, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So now this matchup was pretty good. You kind of know after you've seen the last few weeks of what's going on with Yokozuna. They showed the week before the dissension in Cornette's camp, mainly to do with Yokozuna himself. Poor guy. Now, as the match progressed, Owen Hart came down to ringside around this time when the match was kind of ending. Shawn with a splash off of Diesel's shoulders, which was pretty impressive. He went for the pin, but Bulldog accidentally, with a leg drop, hits Yokozuna. Now, it's not Yoko doing it this time. It's the British Bulldog. And then, of course, Shawn super kicks Yokozuna, and he falls out of the ring. Shawn and Diesel win by way of countout. Now, after the match, Cornette just starts yelling at Yokozuna. Now, if you want to yell at him for the basis of he cost you the match, then yes. But if you're yelling at him at the basis of all these screw-ups, well, you got to look at the British Bulldog now as well because he did it. But as Cornette's chastising him and pointing him, now we've seen this before with a manager and a big guy. When Bobby Heenan did it to Andre the Giant.
You know where this is going.
I'm the effing boss. Yeah, we saw what happened. He got paintbrushed. So all of a sudden, you see Yokozuna just, getting mad, and then finally he pushes Cornette down. This is the green light for Owen and British Bulldog to beat him down. Just brushes them off. This is the fastest I've ever seen Yoko, walk in like 2 years. Unfortunately, if he could have just gotten rid of 100-something odd pounds of weight, and he could have gone well through the Attitude Era. Not saying that he would have fit in with it, but
no, they could have rebranded him.
At least he could have, yeah. But it is what it is. He clears out the whole ring, And then, of course, Owen and Bulldog talking crap on the aisleway. Yokozuna, trying to get out of the ring as fast as he could to run down there. So now Yokozuna's a babyface, which is something back then we didn't think we'd see. And then all of a sudden, when they interview him, he finally speaks great English, where you get, like in 1993, Hulk Hogan, American hero.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not dumb. We know he's not Japanese, but okay. If anybody saw
Polynesian, from the Polynesian Islands. They always said that he was from the Polynesian Islands, but he always had the Japanese flag with Fuji.
If you saw his original gimmick before they came up with Yokozuna, the whole Kokina Maximus thing,
Yeah.
I mean, you look at him and go, oh, the third head shrinker almost.
Yeah.
So, and then, of course, following that, they did a short vignette for Mankind, as we're going to have a bunch of these because he's not going to debut until after.
Yeah, it's not until we reviewed these episodes that I didn't realize that they were promoting Mankind for so long.
Yeah, it was 3 months.
Prior to his debut, I didn't realize that. No.
That's insane.
I completely forgot about it.
Because by the end of February, I'm almost like, all right, when's this guy debuting already? I want to see. We know who it is.
So the ear.
Yeah, and you hear his voice and go, oh, it's Cactus, but they've rebranded him. Yeah. Luckily, this worked.
It worked, but thanks to Mick Foley. But
exactly,
that's a story for another day.
Now let's kick it back over to Monday Nitro because we're not done with the Four Horsemen, not by a long shot.
Nope.
You got Arn Anderson and Brian Pillman against Hugh Morris and Kevin Sullivan of the Dungeon of Doom. They showed last week how this led up. Arn Anderson was going to spank Brian Pillman, and then all of a sudden Sullivan
was going to discipline him.
Yep, and then Sullivan and Morris go and beat down Arn Anderson. You see Brian Pillman, checking, pretending to be hurt, but Sullivan went after him too. It was announced during this match that at Super Brawl, Kevin Sullivan and Brian Pillman would be in a I Respect You strap match.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to review that one. And so, this match was pretty good. Arn Anderson and Sullivan, eventually the fight got taken to the outside. They wound up going down to the entranceway and sort of back towards the merchandising area, I guess you can call it. Out of nowhere, someone just breaks a broom over Arn Anderson. Of course, we find out a few minutes later at the announce table who it is. I'll just say it now. It was Paul Orndorff. Mm-hmm. And, with had a neck brace on and everything.
Wonderful.
No more with that, please. So, and then Sullivan, got a strap. And as soon as he gets a strap, this is the second time the referees have done it, just automatically disqualifies Sullivan. Didn't even wait for him to hit anybody, even if he had even intended. So Arn Anderson and Brian Pillman get the victory, but then he starts whipping on him anyway, on Pillman. And then Anderson came back, but Pillman was already pissed off and had walked to the back. He had had enough at that point.
He had enough.
Pillman's going to do something that wasn't really done back then at Super Brawl. We'll get you'll have to watch the review on it to see that one. Let's go ahead and 4 and 3. Let's go back to Monday Night Raw because they had 3 matches on the card tonight. Nitro had 4. You had the 1, 2, 3 Kid and Hakushi. Oh geez, maybe I should have stayed in Nitro.
1, 2, 3.
And of course, he comes out with the baby bottle, and they have announced that in your house, 1, 2, 3 Kid and Razor Ramon will be in a crybaby match. And you wonder why you've never seen that since. There's a reason.
Thank God.
Because this was so bad.
This was a fun match. This was a fun match, though.
Yes, I was just going to say, very interesting, very high flying. We've seen this before in '95 because both guys were on different sides.
Well,
it's a shame that at this point they've just given up on Hakushi, really, because he is very talented.
Mm-hmm.
Vince at this point he had a short fuse with these gimmicks. Like if it didn't work right away, well then the hell with it. And you can't blame him because right now his back's against the wall with WCW and even with the
it gets worse. Yeah, it gets worse
with the lawsuit. Yeah. But this match was very interesting, very high flying from both individuals. I really did enjoy it. The Kid with a double underhook suplex from the top rope on Hakushi, which you don't normally see him do, executed it very well, and he gets the pin. So the 1, 2, 3 Kid beats Hakushi in this one.
He's out of there.
He's flying high on the momentum heading into the In Your House pay-per-view. So before we get to Cornette's and Clarence Mason, let's jump back over to Monday Nitro where we got Marcus Bagwell versus the Nature Boy.
American males. American males.
This was another interesting match, not one you would normally see.
No, I thought it was good.
It was very good. If Bagwell, if you didn't see the talent in Bagwell and think that you should push him at this point,
he held his own.
You didn't belong.
He held his own against Flair.
Several times, almost had the 3 count.
Yeah. This was fun.
It really was, but of course, now let's jump back a little bit to the beginning. Flair comes out now with woman, insult to injury to Savage. This is also where Orndorff revealed himself, at the announce table, saying, "Payback. You never know when it'll happen." All right, yeah, go away now. Now Bischoff had announced that Savage had taken Hogan to the hospital, and he was on his way back. Conveniently, he made it by the end of this match. Now, during this, Flair applied the figure 4 leg lock on Buff Bagwell and got the submission. He just couldn't Buff. I'm sorry, Marcus Bagwell. We're not Buff yet.
He's not the stuff yet.
No, not yet. He did try to hold out in the move. He just couldn't.
He tried.
Before that, though, put on a hell of a match against Ric Flair.
It was good.
But the Nature Boy gets the victory as he gets his momentum into Super Brawl this coming Sunday. Now, after the bell rang, Ric Flair would not let the move go. He was taking out his frustrations on Savage, on Bagwell, and then he knocks out the referee. And then, of course, Savage came down and chased Flair down the aisle. So once Captain Crazy got there, everybody cleared the ring. So let's jump now to Monday Night Raw, the segment that they did with Jim Cornette and Clarence Mason in regards to wanting Vader reinstated. Oh, boy. I like how they did the whole injury exit thing, but this is now just like, come on. And then, they showed what happened 2 weeks ago, Vader attacking Gorilla Monsoon, and then Vince McMahon interviewed Gorilla Monsoon about it. He said that he didn't act as the way of the president. He acted as Gorilla Monsoon. And he also said that he didn't really, he couldn't hear Vader, everything he was saying. So how he acted was inappropriate, but he wasn't giving him an apology. And then, of course, Lawler asked him, why did you bring in Piper as your interim? He said, well, I've known him for 20 plus odd years. Who better than him to take over from me? Gorilla said that he would be back on or around WrestleMania. He does make a huge impact coming back at WrestleMania in the main event because, during the Iron Man match, when it was a draw, there was no winner, no pinfall, no submission. Gorilla Monsoon came out and said there has to be a winner. And that pissed Bret Hart off. And you can even say that his new attitude when he returned kind of started right there.
Right.
Because he's like, all right, I just had this match. It's a draw. Why am I restarting it? And then you just put me back in the ring and you cost me my title. So, but in any event, Piper will be in charge up until then. And what's funny is, because they say this later on, Piper had brought up the concept of the triple threat match. And that could have played a big role in the main event of Monday Night Raw on this evening. I'll get to that in a little bit. Let's head over to Nitro for their main event for the WCW Tag Team titles. Sting and Lex Luger defending the titles against the Road Warriors. Once again, coming out in the blue. I love it. During the match, Sting wasn't condoning at all what Luger was doing in this match. Luger was fighting this as a pure heel.
Yep.
Sting wanted to do this out of respect. They're both baby faces, both teams. Luger, nobody knows. Now, of course, during the match, they edited it for Peacock, but the building had lost power. And, of course, Bischoff's like, we're going to stay here. We're not the type of people that would leave you in the dark. No pun intended. You believe in us, and we will stay here. Dude, shut up.
Yeah, man, he's selling the product, man. He's selling the product.
No, by this point, he's overselling the product.
Come on.
We get it. Big boys play. You guys are number one. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. It's just redundant week after week. We've done this now 23 times. So, but during the match now, Jimmy Hart comes down. And once Jimmy comes down, that means we got Dungeon Luger, supposedly. He came down with a lead plate. And, of course, Luger grabbed it. Animal was busy with Jimmy Hart. Now, the referee's outside with Hawk and Sting. Luger hits Animal with it and gets the pin. And so Sting and Luger keep the tag team titles. The Road Warriors aren't happy. Sting is not happy with the way with the way it went down. And I believe it was on Saturday night, WCW Saturday night, that he handed Luger the title and said that if this is how we're going to do this, you're going to go at it on your own. Because they do mention that at Super Brawl. And then they finally get on the same page. Now, speaking of Super Brawl, Mean Gene Okerlund gets in the ring, and the Road Warriors are demanding, not asking, demanding to face the winner of the Luger Sting Harlem Heat match at Super Brawl that night. And they do get it.
Right, which isn't fair because the winner has to wrestle 2 times and the Road Warriors are fresh.
They should have incorporated it into a triangle match.
Yeah, that's what they should have done, but hey, it was fun. It was fun.
Both matches were good anyway. Yeah. I mean, I know we keep saying we'll wait until the Super Bowl review, but we just keep, talking about Super Bowl. Now let's go over to Monday Night Raw. The main event for the WWE Championship, Bret Hart defending the title in a rematch from the Royal Rumble against The Undertaker. Of course, we know what happened at the Rumble. Diesel got involved. Bret Hart got disqualified. These guys have never had a legitimate pay-per-view actual winner. Because you get, Diesel interrupts this one. Then this match ends in a no contest. SummerSlam 97. Shawn Michaels hits Taker with the chair. He has to count to 3. Bret wins it. We never get that actual decisive winner of who's better between the two. And then let's not forget, after SummerSlam, the one-night-only pay-per-view, Bret Hart faces The Undertaker in England. And once again, somebody's winning by disqualification. This time it was Bret Hart over The Undertaker. So never a clean victor over these two to never see who exactly is the best. But on this night, these two went at it hand over fist. I mean,
it was a great match.
This was another great match. And again, this is where they announced Piper had announced. They were talking about the triple threat. This would have played a big role in this because now all of a sudden here comes the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde transformation for Diesel, because now Diesel comes down, joins the commentary team, but he's not saying much. And now once Taker went for the tombstone on Bret, one of Bret's legs hits the referee, so now Tim White is down. Bret actually was able to get out of it. By this point now, Diesel attacks Bret Hart, and then Undertaker sees this, comes out and attacks Diesel. So now this would have been an awesome triple threat match for this evening, even though Diesel has a title shot coming up at the In Your House. Diesel hits Taker with a chair, and I love how it's like charged, like he's like, That's like, damn, buddy, calm down. He also jackknife powerbombs Taker twice in the middle of the ring, begging him to get back up. This is gonna make it. This is an awesome storyline for WrestleMania, man. And of course, then Diesel was leaving. Bret Hart attacked him, and of course, they said the match ends in a draw, no contest, same thing, no victor in this one. Bret Hart's still the WWE champion. And to close out the night, they did, despite legal action, they had another episode of Billionaire Ted. And then Vince McMahon showed an article that wasn't going to be published in certain newspapers, but the article would be released that week in regards to Ted Turner. Well, fight fire with fire, man. All right, you got both cards. The rating for the night, Monday Nitro had a 2.9. Raw had a 2.7, so the actual ratings now has Nitro winning 11 to Raw 8 and 2 no decisions, where they had 2 ties. All right, brother, you're up.
Man, this was a
hard one.
This was a tough one. This was a tough one because I enjoyed both shows. I enjoyed both shows, and Bret was thankfully. The World Heavyweight Champion was defending his title. A
rare occasion you had on both shows, the heavyweight title being defended.
And then Nitro had some good stuff too, man. With watching that match with Benoit and Macho Man, and then the even Flair with Bagwell, which was something we kind of didn't expect. That was a great match, and the tag team match. It's like, man. I'm gonna give it to Raw for one reason. For one reason, because I really like Nitro.
Yeah.
Really like Nitro. The Bret and Undertaker stuff. That number one, that was a great match.
Hmm.
And two, the whole thing with Diesel was really good, and that sets up a lot of stuff that happens going forward. So I'm gonna edge it, and it's just slightly because the stuff with Hogan and Macho Man is kind of like, all right, we've kind of seen that, you know. So I'm gonna edge it, but Nitro wasn't bad. It's just I'm gonna just edge it for Raw.
Good. For me, even though the Savage Hogan thing was redundant and it's the same old thing, but this time it was the next chapter in it because now you were involved woman get
Yo, then,
turning on Savage,
mhm.
and then you have Elizabeth in the mix, and so and yeah, Savage facing Benoit first time. We've seen that on Nitro. The even the Anderson Pillman match was hilarious.
Yeah,
Watching
it was
Brian
good stuff.
Pillman being as psychotic as he was. Flair and Bagwell never was seen
Mm,
before. Bagwell proved himself,
mm.
and of course, yeah, the Road Warriors and Sting and Luger,
Yeah,
another great match. Not taking anything away from Monday Night Raw, man, they pulled it all out. Shawn and Diesel, well, to tag team against Cornette's clan. You had Bret defending it against the Undertaker
Even
with
the
Diesel.
Hakushi 1 2 3 kid match was a fun match.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And of course, the whole thing with Vader, Gorilla
Mm.
Monsoon, and whatnot. By an edge, I'm going with Nitro just
Yeah.
because even though it was the same
You had some.
on certain aspects, they added
Yeah.
a little bit more to it.
It could have gone either way. I was.
It really did. That's why the rating
Yeah.
was
It's
so
just.
close.
Yeah. So.
So we've got it now. I've 14-7 in favor of Nitro for me, 15-6 in favor of Nitro
Oh,
for you.
man, I think Raw's making a comeback here.
It,
Oh.
it when the calendar turned to 1996, a lot of good things
Right.
started
Start
happening, and
slowly. Yeah.
we're on the road to WrestleMania, so it has to be good to
Hmm.
build up their biggest pay-per-view. I'm not saying they're all going to be good on the road to WrestleMania, but
But
they have been of late.
yeah. So. All right. Well, that's our review. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. See you guys soon.
Okay.